What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Andy, the Destroyer Ruiz, Luis King Kong Ortiz. It went down to the wire. These guys finally got in the ring, and it was very, very interesting. Bars. Okay, the first round I would definitely give to Ortiz. Ortiz came in shooting that straight left. He had it timed right. He caught Andy Ruiz, knocked him off balance. Ruiz, of course, came in with the fast hands, shorter hands. But, of course, Ruiz kept his distance in the first round, but that left made and put an accent on that first round. Round two. Round two, Luis Ortiz came in with the same straight left, but then he got caught immediately with a looping wide right hand, which is Andy Ruiz's specialty, what he's known for, his hooks. He's a hooker, and he hooks with the left and with the right hook. And that caught him, Luis Ortiz, over the head, and Luis Ortiz dropped like a sack of potatoes. It was shades of when Charles Martin caught him with the same punch, okay? He goes down. He gets up. And the second knockdown was more like a trip and a fall. But the referee, since he's seen the condition of Luis Ortiz, still, ruled it a knockdown, which I didn't see any punch land. So that was the second knockdown. Luis Ortiz survives the round. Third round. Now, here's the weird thing. Luis Ortiz hits Andy Ruiz with a left. And Andy Ruiz, his total demeanor changed. Okay, he got caught with a left hook, and that left, or not left hook, straight left, and that straight left caused him not even to really be aggressive anymore. Okay, so rounds 4, rounds 5, round 6, round 7 was more of these lull times where Andy Ruiz was kind of sitting back. And I don't really know if it was because Andy was hurt. We've seen one thing about Andy tonight, that the more weight for Andy is better for Andy. Okay, the less weight. I think if this Andy would have came in, or the Andy from last year that fought Chris Arreola would have came in tonight, he probably would have got knocked out. Okay, because he got caught with shots, like flush shots from Luis King Kong, and he withstood them. Okay, even though his face didn't show the same. I think Andy has thin skin, because he was swelling immensely, okay? And round 6, 7, I think it was round 8, Luis Ortiz goes down again with another right hand. And he gets up, he withstands it, but the strange thing would happen, Luis Ortiz would always catch Andy with a left, a looping left, that makes Andy stop being the aggressor. And this is what this fight was about. It was Andy would drop Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz would come back with a hard punch, and Andy Ruiz would stop the pursuit. Rounds 8, 9 and 10, Andy was catching Luis Ortiz with shots. Now, mind you, this was more like a chess match because Andy, I understand he's not accustomed to fighting southpaws. This was, in fact, his first southpaw. And, he really popped his cherry with this one because this was one of the, trickiest southpaws despite his age. And rounds 11 and 12 belonged to Ortiz. Ortiz came on. He tried to go for the knockout. Andy, now this is the strange thing about Andy. Andy decided to coast. He decided to hold. I don't know if he was tired. I don't know if he knew he had to fight in the bag, which obviously he did with those amount of knockdowns. But he did not go for the kill, and I think that was very disappointing because, it was times where Luis was pushing him off to get this party started. And Andy didn't want that. Andy wanted to coast to a victory. Andy, of course, won unanimously. Luis Ortiz showed two things to me tonight. He showed that he had heart. He showed that he's still dangerous. And he also showed that he's old. And I hate it for him. Give you guys a backstory. Andy Ruiz ducked Ortiz in 2020. He just said he wasn't ready. And Ortiz, we know earlier this year, fought Charles Martin, and he was dropped a couple times against Charles Martin, so this is nothing new under the sun. But we do know that Andy Ruiz from that performance he's seen Ortiz with was ready to now fight him. And I get the waiting game. I don't respect it. I knew Andy would win. I wasn't going for Andy to win because I knew what Andy was pulling. Now, I think Andy, since he did wait 2 years and wait out and play the waiting game with Luis Ortiz, I feel that he should have at least tried to go for the KO. But to be fair, I don't know if that was Andy just respecting Ortiz like he was, and wanted just to go the distance. He didn't want to embarrass him because he had that respect for him because, Andy's a nice guy, and I'll get to the nice guy thing in a second. Or did Ortiz, being dangerous as he is, old as he is, catch Andy Ruiz with shots that made him worry, that made him hesitant to come forward and to get the job done like he did with Anthony Joshua? So we know he's capable of finishing a fight. We know he's capable of doing certain things, but I just didn't see that guy tonight. He won, no doubt. He was supposed to win. He's 11 years younger. However, when dealing with that type of fight and that type of fighter with that type of age, he's supposed to have gave the fans what they wanted to see, live up to his name. And speaking of the nice guy thing, I think he shouldn't even be called the Destroyer. I think he should be called the nice guy because Andy Ruiz is a very nice guy. He's a God-fearing guy with a family. And the Destroyer is just all garbage to me at this point because he should have pressed the gas. I think he should have got Luis Ortiz out of there. And I know what Ortiz is fighting for. He wants to be the first Cuban champion. I think he's been waited out too long. I don't see that for him unless, somebody like Charles Martin gets the belt back and he fights Charles and actually throws and lands a Hail Mary like he did last time with someone like that. But nonetheless, I feel this is what's going to happen with Luis Ortiz. I think other fighters that didn't want to fight Ortiz is going to want to fight Ortiz now because they see him vulnerable. They see him beatable. They see him low-hanging fruit. Okay? And I give him credit for being his age and doing what he did. Went 12 rounds with the younger, fresher Andy Ruiz. As far as Andy Ruiz, he's supposed to win. So he gets credit, but how much credit can you give Andy Ruiz? I just know the chin is back due to the weight gain, so keep the weight on. We'll see what Andy does in his future. On top of, we'll also see what Luis Ortiz does as well. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Andy Ruiz beating Luis Ortiz unanimously, 3 knockdowns. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!